Okay, so the next project we're working on is a slab constructed container. Okay, it can be open on top. It can have a lid, so that's going to be your choice of what you want to do. Okay, we have all sorts of different shapes and designs that you can do. And you can see some right here. Got a cute little lidded one there. Nice design on the side. One like that is more bottle orientated. So these were all made with rolled out pieces of clay, cut and pieced together. And that's what I'm going to show you how to build this time around. Alright? So once you get your clay rolled out, you have kind of options. One, you should know what you want to make first and foremost. Okay? Get some sketches ready and all that. If you want, out of some kind of thicker paper or cardboard that you find, you can make templates. Okay? With those, you can just place down and cut around those shapes. Okay? If you're good with the ruler, of course, you can just use the ruler. But what I suggest you do if you're using the ruler is get yourself a nice 90-degree edge so you know your measurements are going to be good. Alright? So now I've got this nice corner that I can measure however I think I want it. So I'm going to do 3 inches wide so I can get a few across. This way I can get multiples right in a row. Now, depending on the amount of clay you have left, okay, will be how big you think you can make your project, okay? There is still clay in between the front 2 main doors. You kind of got to enter on the far right, but the clay's on the far left, but it's right in there. You can do that up till 3 o'clock, I think. Okay, and then I'm going to just hold that ruler and make my cut. So you can see I'm optimizing that clay I rolled out. Okay, to then decide what's going to be my other dimension. I'm going to go, I think, maybe 5 inches up. So I'm going to measure 5. I think I can get almost everything out of this piece of clay. All right. And so that's what you're kind of going to do, measure and do it. So you might need assist and help, see if there's someone around your house that can do that. All right, so I have more pieces here than I need, I think, but I will shorten some of them. So with this kind of a box, I can decide if I'm going to go up height-wise, okay, or do you want it more lengthwise toward it? So you can decide which way. Do you want a lid? Not a lid, okay? If you're going to do one with the lid, okay, you like this, you can see it's got the little wavy lines. That's called a key lid. Okay, with that, you're going to attach all sides before you cut it open. Again, though, a lid is optional. It can be left open as well. All right, so I know I am going to need at least 4 of these. Okay, but I need a 3x3 bottom or 2 sides. So with my extra pieces I have right there, I'll be able to get that out of there. So you're going to have to figure out what is going to work together. Are you going to make a circle? You can use, plastic containers to make the round. Set that upside down, cut around it. Then you just need a rectangle. Okay, so the shape is completely up to you. And the size is going to matter on what kind of clay you have. All right, so with this, all this, remember, add a little water to your bag to make sure you're keeping that hydrated. All right? So now with these, they're too wet still to put together. It would just be floppy. You're going to want to let them sit out a little bit till they get sturdy, that they're not going to fall over on you. All right? The next little step we're going to do is called beveling. And with that, you can see I'm going right up to the edge of the clay. I'm going to angle my knife and cut. Pivot. So I'm going to keep that same side up, So beveling is just an angled edge, and I'll show you what it looks like here in a second after I get one done. All right? This is just going to make your project go together a lot easier. Okay? So I'll show you what the difference looks like from one. Whoop, I'm going to get this one a little more. All right? So you can see that there is these angled on every side. And that's going to give it, so we have a 45 and a 45. Because right now, if we add those two, you've added this much thickness to it, okay? But if we 45-degree angle those, okay, they're going to come together nicer, and we don't have to worry about that. So now there I just beveled, and that side is beveled. So when they come together, okay, it's going to give you that nice kind of corner. I don't know which angle is going to be best here for you, but nice and clean. You're not adding that additional to it. So get them all beveled. All right, so once you've got all your pieces of clay cut, like we said, let them dry a little bit so they're still flexible, but they're stiff enough that they're going to hold up on their own. This is going to just help it go together and not be so floppy. The other part to that is don't let them dry out too much too. Otherwise, that causes a whole other problems where they like to crack in the corners, all right? You can see some of the other projects behind me. I am at school right now doing this one. So let's adjust this down to what we're working on. All right, so all of these have been cut and beveled to fit together. You're going to need your slip, okay, and probably that plastic fork that you have. If you've got one that's a little funky, maybe that's going to be your bottom one. And so then now we're going to do is take the fork and I'm going to scratch one way and up the other. Now since this is my bottom, I'm going to do all sides of it. So you can see it goes pretty quick. If you lost your fork, you can probably use your toothpick as well. Now I'm going to go and add a little bit of this slip around it to make sure then it's going to put those together, fill in any gaps, and that will allow it to stick together better as well. So you can see how you just lay it on pretty good. All right, so then my next piece that's going to go on, I am going to do one that's closed up with a lid. So I am going to get all sides of all my pieces, all right? So you can do that all at once if you want, or do it as you go. But you can see you're going to get that slip on there. Okay, and then we are going to start putting these together. Now what I like to do is get those ends straight up together and then give it a little push in together and then squish all that extra slip out of there, okay? So just keep doing that till you get all your parts together. If you were going to leave the top open, okay, then you can see that you're not going to bevel the one side of it, okay? Whatever's going to be the top, you wouldn't bevel, because in that way you have a nice flat, smooth top. But I decided I'd do a lid, so that's why I beveled all my sides, okay? So now I'm going to get that, match up the bottom, and match up my sides, okay? A little push, but not too much to get it to hold together. And wipe that extra slip out of there, okay? So you can see at this point, got the inside smoothed out, did very little to that outside corner. You can see how nice it came together because of the bevel. Okay, eventually you'll have to get this bottom smoothed out, but you probably need a few more pieces together before you do that. You can see this is still a little soft. Good too. My last thing here, if I'm doing the key lid, which I decided to do, is I need to put that top piece on first. Once you cut the lid off, you'll be able to go in and get that seam looking better, okay? Now, because I already added the slip to that, I don't think I need too much here. I'll just look at any dry spots. All right. This one for sure, if it's too wet, it's going to sway in. So you've got to make sure that it is set up enough where it's not going to droop inside your container, okay? And now same thing here. We're going to get that put together. Okay, blend it all good and come back later and do it. Okay, and then once it's kind of good, it's set up but not too dry, you can decide how you want to cut the top. I don't want to go too much near the top where that seam is because that could cause problems. Notice too when I'm cutting, I'm putting little notches in. Oop, that one I'm going to have to push out a little bit. And up, the other side went way better. All right, and matched up. Okay, but now I can take this off gently. Okay, so that side that mushed in. Now I can get these corners on the inside. Make sure they're smoothened together. Okay, and can get these smoothed out a little bit too. Maybe let it dry a little bit if they feel a little wet. And then once it's good to go, okay, decide if you want to do any kind of decoration. Do you want a knob? Okay, and so you can see then we have the box key lid. All right, so here is the finished product. Okay, so a little bit of smoothing with the sponge and a rib and whatever else you need. So the inside, okay, and did a little knob for that. This is still probably a little soft, so I don't want to use it yet. But then there you have kind of the finished slab container. All right, so everything's been smoothed with